Nice to see everybody here. Oftentimes when we sing that song, people will ask me, what exactly are they talking about when they refer to the Christ? Does that mean that I accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior? Does that mean that I have Jesus within me? What exactly is it? In the Christ, in the most literal definition, is the highest potential for a human being. It is like a title. Like a person who is very accomplished in medicine is called a doctor. A person very accomplished in spirituality and in living is referred to the Christ. And we hold Jesus as the example of somebody who personified the Christ within and let us know that we could do the same as well. So it's that Christ within us, that higher potential, where we can always move to a place that is of a higher good. This morning I'm going to talk about the law of creativity. It's very simple. It's so simple that most of the time people don't even think that they can utilize it because it is just that simple. But the law of creativity is that which allows you to create the life you desire. It's very, very simple. It's got 4 steps to it. The first step is a desire. Everything begins with desire. Everything has to motivate us to some degree. And it's a desire within us that wells up. And the desire tells us that we have the potential to gratify that desire. We have the potential to realize the dream or the desire that we're holding. The truth is that the recognition of a desire is an indication that the gratification of that desire or the realization of that dream is within the potential of the person that holds it. If you have a desire, you can satisfy that desire. We're not given riddles we can't solve or itches that we can't scratch that would be tormenting. A desire is an indication of what we can create in our world. So the very first thing is to recognize the desire. And the easiest way to do that is to simply ask yourself, what is it I want? Do you feel like something needs to change in your life? Do you like something new and different? You want to take positive steps in a different direction? Whatever it is, recognize the desire and then clearly define it, exactly what you want it to be. After the desire, the second thing and the most important is vision. Nothing happens without vision, and a vision is simply the picture in our mind of what things are going to look like after we accomplish our goal or we gratify the desire. What does that look like? How will life be? Jesus said, when you pray, believe that you... God, it sounded like a TV minister there for a minute, didn't it? No idea where that one came from. If you believe. When you pray, if you believe, pretend or believe that you've already received the answer to your prayer. It's as simple as that. So with the vision, we create this image within our mind, this vision within our mind, and it becomes real, and then we begin to manifest it in our outer world. So we have the desire, we have the vision of what things will look like once the desire is satisfied. And then the next step is quite simple, that is action. Some sort of action has to be taken. I have friends that had dreams and desires for years and years and years, and they're passionate about them. Everything has always seemed so intense when I'm with them. They're so enthusiastic, but they never take that first step. It's so overwhelming to them that they just remain in the same spot. If you're standing before a towering mountain, in that moment, you don't have to climb the mountain. You just have to take one single step. I ran into an old friend of mine a while back, and literally he looked like he was half the person he was the last time I saw him. And I commented on his weight loss, and he said, yes, I weigh 83 pounds less than I did the last time we saw each other. I said, well, that's incredible. How'd you do it? He says, well, the doctor kind of told me I had to do it. I went and got my physical. He said my health was in danger and that I needed to lose 100 pounds. And I kind of balked, and I said, you know, I've been on diets before. I've lost 5 pounds. I've lost 10 pounds, but I always gain it back. To lose 100 pounds isn't going to work. I just can't do it. And the doctor said, okay, can you lose 1 pound? And my friend said, yeah, I can lose 1 pound. He said, okay, do that 100 times. And literally that's what he did. His goal was to lose 1 pound. And then when that 1 pound was lost, his next goal was to lose 1 pound. And he was at 83 and going towards 100 when I saw him, and he was absolutely positive he could do it. The longest trek begins with a single step. Some sort of action has to be taken. And the importance of that is, if you're standing at the beginning and you want to get to the end, whatever the realization of your goal is, as soon as you take that single step forward, new ideas are going to come to you. You're going to be thinking differently than you did one step back. It opens you up to the realization of your dream in a greater way. And then the fourth thing is perseverance. Every worthy goal is going to have setbacks, it's going to have problems, it's going to have challenges. If it was easy, it wouldn't be nearly as rewarding as most of our goals are. So there has to be perseverance, knowing that if we run into problems, if we have setbacks, if there are challenges that are too big seemingly to overcome, that those aren't stop signs. That's not the universe telling you, you can't do this or you can't have that. It's simply a stepping stone. Whatever your goal is, whatever you want in life, there's so many steps you have to take from where you're at to where you want to be. And every time you run into a problem or a situation that seems to set you back, just know that is one more step forward that you've taken, and there's one less step to take until you get to the end. So it's first of all, realize the desire, define it in great detail, create a vision within your mind, take some sort of action, and persevere. Overcome the obstacles along the way. Every single thing you see in this room came into existence that way. The seats you're sitting on, somebody was sitting on a wood board at one time in their desire to make seating more comfortable during church, so they created a padded seat with armrests. The carpeting that we're on came forth in the beginning as a desire to make the floor more soundproof or more beautiful. This very temple came forth by that same 4-point process. It started with a desire, and that desire was in the mind of Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founder of Unity, and he had the desire to build a temple on the plaza. The church was currently housed down at 9th and Tracy. Now this was a big desire, it was a big dream, it was a goal that was very worthy of accomplishment, but money was short. He did find a spot of land in the plaza. It's the land that we're sitting on right now. It was an undesirable piece of land. Nobody really wanted it because it was a deep sinkhole that didn't seem useful to build on. So he was able to get it at a reasonable price. It was $40,000, but he didn't have any money. But he didn't stop. He took action. He went to the person that owned the land, said, we'd really like to have this. We're going to build a magnificent temple. He defined it to the guy, and the guy says, I'll work with you. You give me $5,000 a year for 8 years, and you can buy the land. And so they went into that contract. They began to plan and dream about this magic temple that was going to take place in the plaza. They had architectural renderings of what it would look like in many different styles. They continued to move closer and closer to their dream. In January of 1929, they signed the contract for the land. In October of 1929, just 10 months later, the Great Depression hit. The stock market crashed. Money dried up. It seemed as if the dream had been smashed, that there's no way they could continue forward and raise the money under such dire financial conditions that the country was facing. But they proceeded forward. They continued to get more renditions of what the temple would look like. And after 10 years, 10 long years of holding the vision of this place, they got together with the contractor and said, let's start construction. Well, the contractor met with a group of people. From what I understand, it was a cold, wintry night. Things were very bleak. They were sitting around a room. And he said the original bid on this was $600,000. Unfortunately, because of the war and because of inflation, it's now going to be $1 million. The people were floored. They barely had enough for the down payment to get the bank to loan them the rest of the money for the $600,000. $1 million seemed totally impossible. They didn't think they could possibly do that. So they went to the bank, and the bank said, no, we will not give you the extra money, and we're withdrawing the money that we've already given you, the loan. So now they had no money at all. They went back to the contractor and said, I'm sorry, we can't go forward at this time. The contractor was struck with compassion, and he was struck with the vision that they held to. And he says, I'll go ahead and finish it. And you can pay me when you get the money. That's how much I believe in your dream and your vision. So construction began, and it moved forward. And 5 years later, the temple opened. Now this is 20 years in the making. 15 years just planning, holding the vision alive, keeping active steps moving for 15 years without seeing any sign of a building being constructed. Some of the people that were there in the beginning weren't there at the end when the construction began. And one was Charles Fillmore. Very active in the beginning. He had grown old. He was in his 90s when they started to build this building, and he just wasn't participating anymore. But they built it. 20 years later, the doors opened. And when the doors opened, this place was dedicated as a haven of rest and inspiration for all people. Now, all is a key word there. All people. It didn't say rest of haven and inspiration for white people, or for men, or for Christians, or for straight people, or for any other particular closed down demographic. It was for all people. And that was unheard of from a church, because you had to be Christian, you had to be Jewish, you had to be Buddhist if there was a Buddhist center in town. But this was all people. Just come. This is your haven for rest and inspiration. It's been going strong now for 60 years. And today we added on to a haven of rest and inspiration for all people. We also say it's a place where diversity is praised. Not just accepted, not just tolerated. Diversity is praised. And that means every single person that comes in these doors is treated equally. There's no discrimination. There is no prejudice. There's no decline. There's no asking somebody to leave because of their lifestyle or because of the things that they believe in. We are all one. We are equal. We are an expression of the one God in the universe. And I think that's what makes Unity Temple. Thank you. That, to me, is what attracted me to the temple in the first place. On Sunday mornings, when I can surround myself with a group of people that are white, black, Asian, Hispanic, and Native American, that are gay and straight, that are Republican and Democrat, that are Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, Jewish people, and Christians, that have histories or past that are a bit colorful, or they have a future that doesn't look like it's real positive. Nevertheless, we are all here at one point in peace and in harmony to support each other in growing to our highest good. That's Unity Temple on the Plaza. We've been given this marvelous place, and now it's ours to take forward and prepare it for the next generations, which we do through our offerings, through our prayers, through our attendance and activities. When it comes time for this generation to hand it over to the next generation, it will be a temple that is a haven of rest and inspiration for all people, where diversity is praised and peace and harmony are the rewards, and it will be a temple that is in pristine condition just as it was when we received it. So for that, we thank the previous generations for all they did to bring us this far, and we thank God and the creative power within us to move us forward, to restore this temple. And we know that when we have the vision of this temple completely renewed, completely revived, and we take action, and we overcome all of the setbacks that might occur, and that we are going to accomplish our vision, there is no doubt about that. And the same holds true in your life. If you have something that you want to change, don't think that you're trapped. Don't think that you're a prisoner. Don't think that you have the capability or the capacity to get what you want out of life, because you do. It's within you. It's inherent. It's part of your spirituality. You have the right and you have the privilege and you deserve to live the life that you desire to live. So as we move into meditation, take a few moments to just think about you and your life. And perhaps if your life is good right now and nothing really needs to change, think of somebody else in your life that's having a difficult time. And hold the vision for them through prayer. And know that they too can become unstuck or unburdened or unimprisoned and move forward to the life they desire to live. We'll now move into meditation. Take a moment, just relax. Take a deep breath. Slowly exhale. Take another deep breath in. And just allow your entire being to become relaxed. And with God, there is a way. It may seem at times that there is no way to meet some pressing demand, that there's no way to move forward to what you desire in life, that there's no way to settle conflict. But there's always a way. Let's remember this and stand firm in our faith that we may not see the way, but it is there. And sometimes it is simply a matter of taking that first step. Sometimes we look at a particular set of circumstances, or perhaps even a person, and we wonder if we'll ever be able to overcome the circumstances or be at peace with the person. But there is a way. There are many avenues through which our good can come. There's always a way. It will open before us as we keep our faith strong and persevere. There is always a way that brings us fulfillment. There is always a way to greater joy. A way that moves us along a new path. A way that brings us through the wilderness of fear and doubt into the clear and shining bright light of a new day in a new time. Slowly begin to bring yourself back to this time and this place. You know that the sense of peace and serenity that you're feeling in this moment can continue throughout the day and throughout the week. You're a good person, living a good life, and you have higher good yet to come. And so it is.
Spirit of life, Spirit of peace, bind our hearts together in your love. You are the tie that binds all hearts. Bind our hearts together in your love. You are the source of our joy. Bind our hearts together in your